Hello, everyone, and welcome to our podcast. And today on Chel and Friends, we will be talking and arguing about various hockey topics. We are your hosts, Caleb,
Michael,
Adrian,
and our guest,
Angel.
All right, I have a question for you guys.
What do you got?
What were your guys' favorite moments from the regular season?
That's a great question, Caleb.
I think, I'm a little bit biased, obviously, but, when we, and I think, we had discussed this before we had gone on here, that,
Right.
when they had raised the banner in the first game for the Avs, that was just for me.
That was a great moment.
I agree. It just reminded me of when LeBron won his first championship in 2016 in Cleveland.
Sure.
Yeah. My favorite moment. I'm a Blackhawks fan. So
Are you really?
Yeah.
Oh.
My favorite moment is when the Blackhawks beat the Avs this year.
When was that?
It was in the regular season at some point. I know.
At some
that.
point.
I actually want to look that up
Because I know it happened. I know it did.
I would just like to say though, in that game, I'm pretty sure we beat you 5-1.
You beat us too. We sucked, but we beat you once.
You did absolutely suck.
No, we sucked.
Sorry, guys. I'm just trying
We
to pull
beat
up
you
this
once, I'm
fucking
pretty sure.
Blackhawks shit. What the fuck do I do?
You hit me with the stat when you got the stat.
I got you.
Just for the rest of you guys, apparently you seem to be a huge Blackhawks fan. What was your favorite team in the regular season?
Definitely not the Blackhawks.
Not the Blackhawks?
No, Bruins.
Oh, the Bruins?
Yeah.
And how's that feel?
They had the best regular season of all time.
They did have the best
And
regular
so, of
season
course,
of
they
all
were
time.
the most fun to watch.
It's hard not to say the Bruins in that scenario.
Yeah.
Like,
most
wins,
most points as well.
Yep.
By a lot. They had more than 20 points more than every other team.
Yeah.
What about you, Angel?
I mean, I'm a big fan of the Kings personally, because
the LA Kings.
the LA Kings, where LeBron plays. I love LeBron, so I have to be a Kings fan. And if you really think about it, it makes sense because the Kings, LeBron is my king, my glorious sweet baby boy.
Right.
Yeah, I just
okay.
like. Yeah.
Of course.
I like that.
Then how do you feel about the LA Kings losing in the first round of the Edmonton Oilers?
I don't really care because Lakers in 6, so.
Lakers in
Lakers
6.
in 6.
I like how you're bringing basketball into all these hockey.
Yeah, it's just that I love LeBron
Yeah.
so much.
He's LeBron's biggest fan.
All right.
Well, speaking of the Blackhawks, they got the first overall pick in
They did,
the
yes.
next
They did.
NHL
Should have been the
draft.
Ducks.
It should have been the Ducks, and I wish it was the Ducks.
No,
NHL is
I'm
scripted.
so happy it's the Blackhawks, okay?
Okay.
A lot of people
Speaking
say
of Connor Bedard,
Yes.
how's he going to do this year?
Interesting. So, if you really think about it, he's a lot like 18-year-old LeBron James coming into the league like really young. I think he's gonna carry his team to the championship, just like LeBron did in 2003.
We get it. You like basketball, but this is
This is
a
about Connor
hockey
Bedard. This is about.
podcast.
This is
But
about
if
one
you
of the
really-
best,
No, Angel,
this is about one of the best hockey prospects in a long time.
If
okay?
you really think about it, though, that's just like LeBron, though, like in
Oh.
every way possible. I just think he's carrying.
Hey,
His,
Angel.
How about we compare
Everyone's-
Connor Bedard to a current NHL player?
What about like Connor McDavid?
Well, this is really
That-
interesting.
that is interesting.
It was really interesting that you say that. And we're talking about like the Blackhawks and stuff. Like both the Blackhawks and forgive me for my lack of knowledge, especially after like Taves and Kane both left their teams. They're kind of an irrelevant team. But you can kind of compare this now 2023 Blackhawks to the Oilers when Connor McDavid just was drafted. Both of these teams absolutely garbage. But you know what? Because McDavid, he was that guy, he was that superstar. He was kind of able to, boost them forward as best they can. And look at them now; they're about to potentially make the third round.
yeah,
That's true, but they can't really make it like to the finals, even though they have two of the best players in the world.
However, but we're talking about. I know you hate the Oilers.
I do.
You hate the
I do.
Oilers.
I'm not a fan.
Yeah.
No, I'm not a fan either.
But you know what? But if we're talking about Bedard with the Blackhawks, we've seen his shot. We've seen him in WHL. We've seen how he got he's averaging 2.5 points a game.
Right.
That's ridiculous.
bonkers.
It's insane.
It's actually bonkers. But I actually think I think that'll carry over into the NHL. I think maybe you don't
I really
maybe
hope
you don't
so.
get
I
two
hope
maybe you
so,
don't
too.
get 2.5 points a game. Nobody gets 2.5 points a game. That's
No.
probably insane. But we're still probably looking at 1.5 minimum for this guy.
Oh, 100%.
This guy's absolutely bonkers. And one thing I was saying, in the draft, Connor Bedard is one of the youngest guys as well, which means there's only one way this guy can go.
He's not even 18 yet. He's still 17.
This
Really?
guy is 17.
That's
He's
He
younger
turns
than all-
18 in June or July.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
well, I mean,
I'm older than this kid.
I really think he has potential to be the next Connor McDavid. Speaking of Connor McDavid, I just feel like he's the best player in the league, and since I feel like he's just such a good role model because he just reminds me of LeBron James.
Yeah,
Since like
sure.
LeBron's the best player in
Yeah.
the NBA.
What about Michael Jordan?
That dude's a bum.
Okay, before we get too far off topic, let's talk about the Bruins in the first round.
Because I know you were talking about them earlier. You know, best record.
I mean, best regular
Historically.
season ever.
But if
But
we have
they
to,
are-
but, you know, we're talking about the
That's
Bruins.
bad.
The regular season doesn't matter
'Cause
when it
we're-
comes to the playoffs.
Because if we're talking
That's
about
true. That's so true though, because like you see like. The Warriors had the best record in 2018,
Michael.
but LeBron James still beat them in the finals.
Angel.
it's okay.
Relax.
And
Let's
if-
give someone else a chance. What do we think about the Boston Bruins in the playoffs?
Oh
this
yeah,
year?
horrible.
Yeah.
Because the thing is,
No,
if you're talking
complete
about
frauds.
if you're
Complete
talking
frauds.
about the Bruins,
I
you gotta-
was very impressed.
you got to talk about the Panthers as well.
Right.
I mean, we're talking about what they've done 3-1.
Yep.
3-1. We're
Like
talking game
LeBron
one.
in 2016,
Shut the
he was
fuck
down
up.
3-1 in
Angel,
2016
Angel.
to the Warriors.
This is, please.
He was
like,
down-
last, Angel last time. Like
He was down
Angel.
3-1 to the Warriors in 2000, and he
Angel.
still won.
Angel,
That's my GOAT. That's my
So
GOAT.
the,
please.
so the Maple Leafs are down, speaking of the Panthers, they're down 3-1 and they play tonight. So how do we think that series is going to end up?
I mean, you
They-
know,
Are they going to come back? Or?
I want them to win.
I mean, we're talking about the
Agreed.
Maple Leafs who are like historic for, you know, like losing these like 3-0, 3-1,
Right.
these one leads. But you know what? They were just against the Lightning, and I mean,
Lightning
you know,
games
every
are
single game they won
different
except for
than
like
that.
2 was an OT win.
Right.
However, they kind of defied the odds.
Right.
And for a team that seems to defy the odds all in the other direction,
Yeah.
unfortunately, until this season apparently,
Right.
you tend to think maybe they'll do it again because if we're talking about it,
They're the chokers.
I mean, they are the chokers,
the
but
chokers.
you know, they broke the curse, right? They broke the curse, and you know,
They did.
people have been saying like, what is it, since like '97, since they won the second round or something? Like, it's, I mean, it's been a while, but I think it's possible though. I think they might have what it takes, and you
I
know,
agree.
but the issue is again,
It would
you
be
got to talk
awesome
about
to see them win.
it's
It would.
it would be. I mean, honestly, I'm rooting for them, especially after the Avs are gone.
Yeah.
But the thing is,
We
though,
did not deserve to be in that first round.
We didn't, but
we did not
what's-
deserve
what's-
that division.
you know what? Now that we're on the topic of the
Yes.
Avalanche not making it past the first round, of course, the Eberle hit. Jordan
Yes.
Eberle. So you know, I was talking to
Oh, yeah, I
I was
heard about this.
you see, I was talking to people, you know, before the playoffs started. Maybe it was like game 1 or whatever, and he was saying one of my buddies was telling me that and I because I didn't really like to believe in conspiracy theories at the time. I didn't give this too much, so I kind of like nodded. I was like, okay,
Sure.
you know. But he was saying, and it makes sense that because, you know, Kraken, you know, they're an expansion team. They kind of want this new team to do well, and especially like it'd be so crazy if this new expansion team, second thing I've ever been a thing, beats the defending Cup champions.
Yeah.
You know, that's a pretty big thing. And so, and you know, I didn't really want to say too much at first, but like there was, I think it was in game 1 or 2 when there was a blatant tripping call. I'm pretty sure it was a trip on McKinnon.
Yeah.
They take, and then the Kraken, it's an easy turnover for them, and it's like a 3-on-1, they score.
Yep.
They blatantly ignore a call, and then we lose the game because of it. And unfortunately, stuff like this was happening the entire playoffs. I mean, we have the hit with Jordan Eberle. I mean, like, if we're going to compare that hit to anything, let's compare it to the Cale Makar hit
Yep.
in like a game or 2 before. He
only got like one. Like
He got a-
he got, like,
He got
it was,
one
like,
game suspension.
and
game
I think it
suspension.
was a 5K fine and a
Yep.
game suspension. But the issue is, if you look at all of the things regarding that hit, it was kind of easy to see, like, giving a nuanced look at everything. You kind of see that the I can't remember who was it, McCann that got hit, right? It was McCann
Yes.
that got hit by Cale.
It was.
He saw the puck go out of bounds, but
McCall did
Cale,
not.
he was the one playing defense. He didn't see where the puck went. He wasn't looking at the shot, so he didn't see where the puck went. He didn't see that went into the netting. However, the refs should have done their job. They should have blown the whistle. But Cale, still thinking the puck's in bounds, shoves McCann as like
It's-
anyone would.
It's an unfortunate play.
It's an unfortunate hockey.
It
Yeah.
happened.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of the Vegas Golden Knights in their first season, making it to the Stanley Cup final.
Yeah, it's crazy.
I don't want to say things are scripted, but
And here's
So
the
what
thing.
do you think about this
So,
whole
missed calls really pain me. I think referees should be held more accountable because
100%.
like
yeah.
Absolutely.
I was watching Lakers versus Celtics.
Angel,
Wait, get the
fuck out! Angel, just get the
Okay,
fuck
yeah.
out! Get the fuck out!
Bro.
No, I gave you chance after chance after chance after chance.
Sorry about that,
Go
guys.
Yeah, that
Our
was
our
I
guest
thought-
went a
I
little
might be-
off the
okay,
rails.
Okay, I wasn't.
I didn't know.
I'd like to move to our final question of this
Yeah.
podcast.
Yes.
Of course.
Who's going to lift the Stanley Cup this summer?
That's a great
I hope it's the Leafs.
I hope it's
I
the
hope
Leafs
it's the
too.
Leafs. I think the Knights can do it.
I don't want the Knights to do it. Let's
But
not talk about that.
Honestly, I think the Oilers are going to beat the Knights in this series.
I could see it happening, and that's the thing, though. I think like if we're talking about like,
I mean,
players
even
that really
so,
deserve it.
that series is going to be really good.
That's the thing.
It's going to
It's going to
seven.
seven.
It's
regardless.
going to seven,
Absolutely,
and I
yeah.
think like, but if we're talking about like guys that really deserve it, I mean, like, let's talk about Austin Matthews. I
Yeah.
mean, that guy has suffered first round loss after first round loss, and
That's
like
true.
we
The
know how
Oilers
good the
would-
guy is.
The Oilers. They
McDavid deserves it just
Of
as
course.
much, though.
Exactly, and but both of these guys, I'm okay seeing either because I don't
Yep.
I don't follow either of these two teams. I mean, I like the story of the Maple Leafs making it out of the first round.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, a lot of people say, like, you know, if we're talking about like the Kraken, for example, like their depth carries them.
Right.
But we're talking about two teams where the stars are kind of carrying. Like we're talking about Austin
And
Matthews,
it's
Mitch
working.
Marner, literally Mitch Marner and
It's
Austin Matthews, or we're talking about Draisaitl, we're talking about Nugent Hopkins and
Yeah.
McDavid. These
Yeah.
guys, they're working their fucking asses off, and they're trying to win the cup for themselves at this point.
Can I hit you guys with an interesting take? I'm not sure if you guys are going to agree with this, but I honestly think the Florida Panthers are going to win their first Stanley Cup.
I wouldn't hate it. I wouldn't hate after
I
being
wouldn't
Boston.
either.
That's
Oh, yeah,
the
no, I mean,
crazy
they-
story.
They just beat the Bruins. I
Yeah.
mean,
And I mean, it looks like they're about to take the Knights down, not the Knights, the Leafs
Leafs.
down as well.
Yep.
And it's like,
yeah, they are, and they were good last year. They made it. I think they made it past them. They made it to like the second round, maybe.
they made it to the second
Or
round and then
something.
got swept
And
by
they
the
got
Lightning,
swept
didn't they?
by the Lightning.
Yep.
And then Edmonton beat the Lightning. But
Yep.
I think the Panthers could absolutely win.
Agree.
I think, especially if we're talking about like the story behind that is incredible. We're talking about a team with 91 points going off the regular season. Of course, it seems like that doesn't matter too much. But we're talking about going off the regular season.
Yeah.
I mean, this is a team with 91 points.
Yeah.
Maybe you say
Speaking
they're
of
under,
scripted.
and maybe
Right.
maybe we're saying they're underperforming, but that still doesn't change the point that change the fact that they didn't do great.
Yep.
Versus a team with 135 record season, we've never seen this before. Coming back down 3-1 like that,
Yeah.
that's unheard of.
It's ridiculous.
And I think
They
if they
deserve
take
it,
if they
for sure.
take down the Leafs like this,
Yep.
and what it looks like they're taking, if they could potentially take down the Canes after that, and who are they playing? The Knights or the Oilers? Maybe the Stars
Maybe.
potentially.
Yep.
But that's not. None of those are easy series.
No.
I mean, that's probably one of the most difficult cup runs we've seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And if they pull that off,
Props
nothing
to
but,
them.
Nothing but respect.
Okay, well,
Chucky boy on top.
this concludes this NHL podcast. Thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in next week for some more takes on the second round of the Stanley Cup playoffs. Bye.
Thank you.